I sure do love myself a good old-fashioned match of Hyperion Shale. When I saw this replay sent over to the submissions channel, I just knew that I had to cast it. We don't get a chance to look at it all too often, and it always ends up being a banger of a match, so I'm very excited today to see exactly what went down between all of these heroes. Now, before we get into this, there's a couple of important announcements, two things specifically, so I'll rattle them off very quickly here before we get underway in today's cast. First of all, our very own Barcast TV has gone ahead and set up a Patreon to help collect a fund for the next season of the Bar Pro League. And I'm very, very excited to partner with Barcast in promoting this, so you'll see a link down below in the description section. If you'd like to join and become a member of that Patreon, all the proceeds for each membership do go directly towards funding the tournament winnings for the Bar Pro League to get the best and the very bravest out there playing on the field in those big 1v1 tournaments. Super excited about this, and there'll be more news about that to come, as well as some events that I've got planned. But keep your eyes peeled, because there's going to be a lot of opportunities. Also, in my very own Discord channel, which again will be linked down below in the description section, we are now running a, shall we say, a community event. It is a pick your best clip and submit it to the Brightworks event, where you can go and find your very best clip from a video, a live stream, whatever it happens to be, and submit it there. Where at the end we're going to be compiling all of them into a big community video sort of a thing, and we'll you know, I'll be putting it all together basically and making a compilation of the very best bits of the Brightworks from the last what, 2 years now, 2.5 years now, something like that. My goodness, I remember when this channel was just a wee baby at like a month old, and now it's already a couple years old. Oh, how time flies. Time flies, like, for instance, the game that we've got going on in front of us here. So let's jump right into it. Our blue team commander spawning on the front lines of Hyperion Shale. It's going to be Watch Me Do This at 46.82 open skill. My goodness, we are getting pretty high in that OS value nowadays. 47 open skill here, going to be showing us what they've got. Going into some good old-fashioned Armada wind turbine spam on this very, very metal-rich and wind-heavy map. Makes a lot of sense to get those OP Armada wind turbines up and running, as well as a whole bunch of these constructors to build mexes and wind turbines, geothermals, all kinds of good stuff, as well as resbots, of course, to eat up all the crystals, the Duracell crystals that are lying around all over the place. Watch me do this. Off to a very greedy, but a very economic start, right? Spending a lot of metal on the long-term investment means that as we go forward into this match, I'm expecting to see some pretty committed tech levels here. On the other side here, spawning as the red team leader, also as Armada, and also going for a pretty greedy start. It's gonna be DB. DB pumping out a couple of those constructors, double Lazarus resbots here to eat up a bunch of the crystals as well. Basically a mirrored start right here. A little bit less greedy, one less constructor it does look like. Oh, actually no, we started with a constructor and just sent it a little earlier. Okay. This is one of the reasons I love Hyperion Shale, is just because it's so unique. There's so many different pathways, and it hardly ever lines these commanders up one-to-one properly. Early Bomber goes across the field. There it goes. Hey, nicely done. Bomber manages to find the blue backline. It also manages to take out a couple of those wind turbines for the green commander, Blizze, whose commander is actually AFK right now. Should be grabbing those metal extractors. Bombs away on top of the wind turbines. No anti-air up yet. One of those bots comes out of the lab, but far too late here. The Bomber does make it away, and it will now make it into the enemy territory. Lining back up once more for another pass. Will we send the anti-air to catch it? Ugh, no generosity. No anti-air sent to the teammate here. And that will get a killer bombing run against a whole bunch of those wind turbines. Anti-air finally takes the Bomber down, but certainly a lot of value. 3 bases hit. Quite hard right there for one of those early Cortex bombers. Hard to understate just how damaging those bombers can do. I mean, in composition here with a couple of ticks that also sneak by. Our red team is off to a glorious start here. 2% on that metal extractor. Pure luck. We do also have the Resbot. We have, oh no. Ah. Breaking my heart every single time to watch a Resbot reclaim a metal extractor. But alright, my goodness, talk about a fortified midsection here, as we've got beamer turrets on beamer turrets on beamer turrets for days. Just setting up a whole forest of beamer turrets here is Jadamu, or Jademu, I'm not entirely sure, the orange commander right here, who's just going for as many of these medium laser towers as possible. And you know what? I kind of love it. This is basically perfect. We do need to start up a little bit of build power. Like, one construction turret back here scales your build power quite a lot. This commander is 300, this constructor is 80. So an extra 200 build power means these turrets go up in like an extra, it shaves like 4 or 5 seconds off of the build power, or the build time. And then, of course, it helps you scale into those heavy laser towers as well. Like you can see, watch me do this is going for right here for the blue commander. Okay. Very aggressive T2 timing here from Tavor UA. Certainly not, I mean, it was ambitious. It was a very ambitious timing right here, and you can see exactly how well it's paid off. Didn't grab the metal extractors up here, didn't push forward with the team, left a giant open hole right here, and all of a sudden you learn exactly why it's so important to play aggressively on these maps that especially aren't really well defined. This isn't Isthmus, this isn't your glitters, this isn't where we know the meta perfectly for every single player on the map. Commander, this is where you have to play very dynamically and pay attention to what your team is winning and, well, maybe more importantly, what your team is losing. Yeah, energy falling right here as the orange commander loses the main base in the backline. Did we even have, oh no, that was all brown, yeah. Orange commander basically functioning off the charity of the team, and there's not a whole lot left running around right now, and Jetamu loses it all. Oh no. Alright, commander trade over on this side here as it looks like, well, actually not a trade per se, more like a snipe as the yellow commander has gone down. Bear of Bears, the purple commander, setting up some beamer turrets on this lane as well. Hopefully we see some anti-air coming out eventually. Mace is on the front line for a little bit of brawling and some rocket bots for that long-range skirmishing. Commander, this is effectively two armies versus one, and so far, things are looking quite nice here for the purple commander. Can just retreat backwards to the safety of those beamers. In order to repair all this back up, we desperately need some anti-air here, though. Banishers are super light in the armor. No reason for those to be winning this fight here. Aside from the bombers that continually harass this backline, which I love to see. Oh, look at this bombing run. Beautiful bombing run from the hot pink commander. My goodness. Ghost Boy making it painful to live in this back lane right here as these bombers continue to harass down metal extractors, wind turbines, all kinds of stuff. Just beautiful. Oh no, commander not paying attention. Commander Blizzy, Blizzy, you're not paying attention to your commander, Blizzy. Ruxian mob now moving forward, enjoying a feast of 1,500 metal lying on the floor right there. An early jump, slingshot rather, into T2 as we already have the T2 lab up and running. Again, this map is huge on the metal investments, 2.5 per metal extractor, and they're everywhere. And we already have, well, yeah, an extra 1,000 or so metal, about 1,600 or so metal going back to the commander right here. At this point, it means, I mean, that's basically 2 metal extractors, but no, closer to 3 metal extractors. Get a life. Ooh, a little bit of salt mining apparently here from the blue commander. Or mined salt, I should say. The blue commander is the salt deposit, potentially. I think it's really more to do with the bombers than the HLT that's been blasting away at this commander for the last minute, but we should be wary. Those HLTs don't mess around. They have loads of range and tons of damage, and all that adds up to being a very, very difficult spot to push into. As more and more of these rocket bots try to push in, at the very least, watch me do this, is trying to reclaim all these corpses, and that's quite nice. But, I mean, there's really no reason to lose all this, right? These bots are just sort of sacrificing themselves. We either have to push or we have to retreat, but we don't want to do both. Half and half isn't perfect. Why useless AFK? Sort of agree. I mean, these aggravators are basically sitting up here on the front line. They're not really being used. They're kind of brawling here and there, but not necessarily stepping forward. They would be much better off being commanded by either one of these 2 commanders over here. The more commanders you have on our front line, generally speaking, the more diluted the front line gets. Has died. Oh my goodness. What a hero on the left-hand side. The pink commander falls right here as well. The purple commander manages to bring down not 1, but 2 different comms on their front line. What on earth is going on? I mean, I guess they've got a huge economy, right? They've got 3, 6, 9... yeah, 9 metal extractors. It's a giant economy right now for the purple commander. What is that? Oh, I forgot to move this over, by the way. There it is. Our little strategic box. There's got to be a way to adjust it. I'm sure there is. I'm not running on the latest version. Maybe it's been updated since. While we were looking away, though, it looks like those rocket bots have gotten into the fight here, and they will start to engage, firing their rockets away at whatever targets they can find. Those shell shockers putting out some hurt, though, from the red commander, who's just gone into what basically looks like a fortified position and not much more production. We have a couple of tanks queued up right here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're just going to start investing in the economy. I mean, there's no T2 out and running, at least not quite yet. Hot Pink Commander is yet to hand over a T2. We've got some jammers up and running apparently here. One for the red commander, got one coming up for the blue commander. I love this thing so much. This is the tool that I've been asking for forever and ever. I think eventually this UI is going to be changed, right? Like, this will be revised, but this is effectively my favorite widget, I think, to date that I've ever seen. It's a caster's best friend. No action shall be missed. Fusion plant starting up for Ruxian Mob, the Maroon commander on the right-hand side, who's been doing phenomenally. I mean, hasn't taken much damage and has done a whole bunch. And I gotta give huge, tremendous credit to the purple commander, who's just continued to hold on despite being up basically 2v1. At one point, it almost looked like 3v1 on the left-hand side here. I mean, what a stalwart defense. We moved all the production forward, we set up the beamer turrets, we got loads of value from these early T1 units, and now we're ready to start pushing again. That's a lot of metal in the front, though, and I mean, we got the build power. I wonder if going into T2 wouldn't be the bad idea here. How much metal do we have lying around? Nearly 4,000 metal. Yeah, I think that's going to be the right move. Still, though, pushing for one of these bases isn't a bad idea. A couple of grunts, again, sneak through. This has been a gaping wound in the side of the red team. They just haven't patched it. Nobody has realized that there's a giant open spot right here. And now we're running by with rocket bots. Tav or UA, I think the burden ultimately falls on the brown commander here, who is, I mean, more or less lined up at that position, right? Super Toast doing a great job of discovering that pathway that's essentially unguarded. And then looks like our Lavender commander pushing through here as well. Now, eventually this will be cleaned up. Tons of damage, loads of dead wind turbines, but eventually this will be cleaned up. The question is, did the T2 transition here from the brown commander really compete as far as timings go with the others? Well, I don't really think so. T2 is just about to come up right here from Super Toast. Except a bunch of damage was done and that T2 is coming up, whereas the brown commander had to take a bunch of damage in order to pay for that T2, right? So you can see it's not really a fair trade right here. Still, those T2 mexes are pretty powerful, pumping out 10 metal per second per metal extractor is ginormous. Brown commander actually calls a resign vote here. We do have the Sheldon on the front, so that's going to be quite nice. They will slowly but surely start chipping away at a bunch of these frontliner units here, making a decent argument for building some better, higher power artillery pieces. Persecutors, for sure. Got ourselves a little capture command as watch me do this. Oh, come on. We need a widget that stops your units from firing at units that are being captured. Like, clearly I've got a plan. Let me work. Double T2 labs this close together. You wonder why they didn't just plant it in the middle and go for a little bit of communism. Tends to be a very popular because it's very powerful strategy. Loads of sprinters coming out here as well. Just anything and everything we can make to possibly defend against all this. And my goodness, are we ever going to clean up this lane? I don't know. This is a lot of damage. Love the air cons here, though, that are going around and rebuilding the metal extractors. Wouldn't mind seeing them reclaim as well. I mean, just using them to rebuild or use this metal to go into, for instance, T3. I mean, at this point, it's not even unreasonable. We're up to, yeah, about 8,000 energy per second here for the red team. It's enough to go into that T3 pretty quickly. Especially, for instance, like a Maroon commander here who's got multiple fusion reactors, wind turbines, all that good stuff. Yeah, I'd kind of love to see it. This is huge, too. We've got the 6.2 metal extractor, and I'd love to see this upgraded to a T2, right? 24 metal per second, not bad. Still, these T1 are brawling in the front line. Was it worth it, ultimately? I mean, the Resbots are reclaiming all this. Most of this army is resurrected. These Resbots will get huge value out of reclaiming all this base. But if we don't spend it on T2, then it might be a moot point. And we sure are. I mean, we have the T2 lab up and running. There we go. Okay, mexes are started up here. Loads of butlers being built as well, just as mobile build power to help these constructors going around. We have, like, epic units enabled or anything? No, okay, just just default. I was wondering, because epic wind turbines would be crazy on this map. They effectively multiply the wind speed by 10, so instead of 20 wind energy, you would get 200. They're quite good. Now, the blue team is simultaneously tapping out of this game and winning at the same time. Well, you know, I say that. The red team has their T2 maxes up and running, and look at that metal boost. The red team is winning by all accounts from, like, all the statistical measures. The blue team is winning by the aggression. Neither team is convinced it feels like that they're winning this game. I guess that must mean it's a close one here. At least it must feel like a close one for both of these teams, as both of them think that they're in the losing position, when in fact both of them have a major advantage they could take advantage of. And if they do manage to take advantage of, well, they're going to be in a tremendous spot. Orange forced off the midsection. Now it's going to come down to the Maroon commander, and it looks like also the Maroon and Red commanders, the two comms that are going to be dealing with each other here. Just having a wide look across this battlefield, and we can see we do have some airplanes actually built up here by the blue commander. A risky transition with the front line crumbling right here, but I suppose we had better do something rather than nothing. That rattlesnake on the high ground is quite nice. Now firing away at the siege position right here, or the dug-in position for the green commander. Now inherited by the blue and lavender commanders. What a funky match. The red team has the production to beat the blue team. However, it feels like all their production is going into T1 units. I mean, we have a bunch of T2 here, some sumos and Sheldon and whatnot. We luckily have some welders to intercept all of these grunts that are coming through as well. Fat Boy, shooting right at its own units, of course, as always. It's the Fat Boy special. Spread... Spread them. Spread them, cries the Orange Commander. As, yeah, we desperately do need to see all these spread outs to mitigate some of that splash damage. Mostly from our own unit. We can also mitigate that by just... Yeah, we are dumb firing, actually. You can move it pretty far forward, though. Ooh. Yeah, yep. That'll do it. Sumo Sheldon is a potent combo. Difficult to kill. Hits pretty hard. Fairly mobile. Why did we stop with the lightning tanks over here? That was looking great. We're being way too scared about this T1 emplacement right here. This is literally a single beamer turret that we're scared of at the moment. One beamer turret and one hero T1 bomber. I don't think it's going to cut it against this entire army of T2 units that can shoot that bomber down at a single volley. Yeah, not really going to cut it, I'm afraid. Why are we being so scared? We're so scared. This is not a cheap T2 army either. This is a proper T2 pushing force. It's time to go. Kevaren, tank commander here, inching forward, will eventually be able to break this line. This line was breakable 3 minutes ago, but will now manage to break this line for realsies. Bulls and Jaguars firing away here to scratch up the armor right there on all these units, and the Starlights, of course, to literally atomize all the rest of it. Sending high energy tachyon beams directly through them. I could be mistaken, but I thought tachyons were the ones that effectively don't interact with matter. Isn't that why we have to build big chambers underground? Just for a slight chance of one of them interacting with a pool of dense water? Heavy water, whatever it is. Feels like a kind of ineffective thing to make a weapon out of, but what do I know? This humble commentator only studied physics for a couple of years. The blue base is toast. Jaguars blasting apart the energy storage rather. The T1 units again for the entirety of this game. The T1 units, yeah, not gonna cut it. Not really gonna cut it against this T2 army over here. I think our red heroes have realized that they actually have the advantage here. Lapsa moving in to try and degun some of this, but we have the ticks in place to uncloak any commanders, any pesky commanders that might be moving in. And, of course, the lightning tanks and bulls are going to be more than enough force to drive those commanders back once they're uncloaked. Not to mention, of course, the Starlights, which will bring a commander down in nothing short of a couple of blasts. Might not even be needed, though, as these hero ticks blast away at that commander about 1% per shot. And doing a fabulous job of it. And Commander cloaks to try and get out of there. Starlights wanted that kill badly. Oh, they want that kill so badly. You can see Jadamu is now knocked out of the game and is now in charge of microing the teammates. It's an important position. It's a very important role. The scrum lead. You really need somebody in charge of the entire team here. That is a nuclear launcher coming up on the front line. Not a sentence I say often, but when it happens, it's worth pointing out. Nuke silo. Fusion plant, advanced E-converters. We have the Bulwark also coming up right here. Loads of fusions all over the place, actually. I love the fusion scaling. Fusion scaling is very, very easy. It feels great. Is that a capture command? Oh, that was a capture command. Yeah, look at that. Kevaren stealing units. What a cheeky lad. Yep. You're mine now. I think our green commander realized what was happening right there, but that is too funny. Yeah, must have some radar vision to understand that there is a commander indeed cloaked and hanging out over here by the cliffside. Kind of difficult to get the commander when it's bundled up against the wall like that. Shiva, however, has enough AoE that it does not care. Six versus 4 in favor of the blue team. Do I spy with my little eye a double nuclear silo right here? My goodness. We've got some greedy gamers today here, folks. Double nuclear silos for the red team. They're both thinking the same thing. It's time to get downright thermonuclear with it. Mammoth's rolling out of the lab here for the Seafoam Green Commander. I actually like that a lot. The Mammoth makes a lot of sense. Super high energy cost and even higher metal... Well, not technically, but has an extreme metal cost and a huge energy cost. And for what you pay, you get an extremely beefy boy. Very, very tanky, absurdly difficult to kill, especially with any T1. Like, basically impossible to kill with T1. Difficult to kill with T2. And even T3, in certain contexts, can struggle against them. Here's a unit that's always worth its salt, though. The Marauders start streaming in. Purple Commander ready to rip this game into high gear. As we've got the Marauder now pushing forward here into this, well, not quite set up yet, static defense of the Brown Commander. We have a bunch of units on the field, which is great, of course, but now there's, well, just not quite enough. Tavor going for the D-gun. D-gun's away, catches one Marauder, doesn't manage to catch the second. Welders trying their very best as well. Arbiter missile kind of connects here. Pitbull firing away and doing as much damage as it can, of course. Starlight's trying here too. The flanking damage from the ticks is actually ginormous. It basically doubles the damage output of all these other units that are trying to clean all this up. Fusion reactor in a little bit of trouble, but down goes the Marauder. Wow. That was a clencher of a defense right there. Super close call for our, oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, the third nuke has just begun. It looks like we might be deconstructing this one, realizing that two of our teammates are already going for nukes. Maroon Commander's just about finishes up. The Tank Commander is starting their second here. As we just go ahead and go into some crazy eco-scaling. I mean, we're Hail Marying it at this point. Bombers have decided to come across the field. They all die because they targeted an AGO. Obviously worth taking out, of course. It's a huge energy deficit right there for, I believe, the Brown Commander. But losing all those bombers is a bummer. I can't believe it. I can't believe we have a third nuke silo on the docket here today. Gonna trade it out for a fusion plant. We've arrived at a treatise of arms, no thermonuclear weapons. Instead, we're turning to clean energy. One of those things I love about Beyond Our Reason is it's all clean energy. There's no, I mean, aside from, I guess, reclaiming trees, doesn't seem like... Is reclaiming trees clean energy? I mean, the robots don't care. The trees care, though. Okay, so aside from reclaiming trees and tentacle plants and whatnot, all the energy in Beyond Our Reason is, like, ethically sourced, 100% renewable, clean energy. Solar panels, wind turbines, fusion reactors. Not to mention, I mean, just creating matter out of energy. Very useful, of course. Are we ready? We're armed, locked and loaded. Fusion reactor scaling, advanced fusion reactor coming up right here. I mean, my eyes... I don't want to take my eyes off this nuke silo. I feel like this is where the action is going to be. If we put this nuke down right in the middle here, it could do a ton of damage and open up a giant range. Giant range, rather. The mammoths don't really care, but the rest of this would basically go kaput. The backline isn't really secured either, though, as this nuke is... I mean, we have a target. We have a target. Fighters are pulled. Is it time? Maroon Commander sends the fighters across looking for a target. Maroon Commander also with their nuke charge now. Razorback still pushing on the southern side, so that's a imminent issue. Are we gonna launch them? Oh, come on. I think the fighters are intended as a scout. Yep, fighters scout this all out and realize there's nothing back here. Anti-nuke just barely starts up, but it's not, well, not up and running yet. There we go. Both of these commanders launching their nukes at the same exact time. Purple base, and it looks like the green base will be going down simultaneously. Nuclear missiles up into the air. Headed across the map at this point. I'll try and get a double. Boom goes the green base. Boom goes the purple base. And a beautifully synchronized thermonuclear strike right there. That was beautiful. I mean, basically as perfect of a synchronization as it gets. A third one here on the way as well, just to rub it in. We've got Urso also losing the main production center here. All of a sudden, I mean, this is looking fantastic. Has the red team just done it? After having the eco advantage, investing it all in nuclear weapons in order to give the advantage back to the blue team, I believe the red team has just managed to pull this game, at least as far as the map control goes, back into their favor. Okay. What a weird way of closing out this match, but I don't see a win condition here. There's another one down, by the way, for the blue team. I don't see a win condition here for the blue heroes. They have a lot of units on the field, but as soon as these go down, they're not replaceable. T3 Lab is without build power, so that's going to take a couple minutes to get back under production. Meanwhile, the T3 have all the time in the world to just continue leisurely destroying everything. And even if they trade semi-inefficiently, or even extremely inefficiently against all these units, which, I mean, it's sharpshooters and razorbacks, so they will, it's not really going to matter. It's not really going to matter at all. T2 units now moving in. The Shiva going to have a field day dismantling those, but again, the Shiva are now indisposable. Irreplaceable. And bulls do fire pretty hard. Hitting with the weight of a T3 unit for the cost of a T2. Catapult here taking some serious hits as well. And down it goes. These Razorbacks are ever encroaching, and it is concerning. The ever-incumbent swarm of grunts moving forward here is an interesting choice as well, a difficult problem to solve, especially for Cortex. Karganeth would be the correct solution here, not Shiva. It's the reason why we're struggling so much. Mammoth Walk has also eventually, slowly but very surely, made its way across the field. We might be going to the very last commanders at the end of this after all. 1 commander remaining here for the red team, 7 commanders for the blue. Okay. Well, it's going to be pretty difficult to kill 7 commanders in the time that 1 is found right here. We need to see our maroon hero leaving. Razorbacks teetering on the edge of this here, just trying to provide fire support without taking much damage themselves. Again, these are not disposable. These are not easy to replace here at this point. Do we have resbots? We do have resbots. Oh, nice. Okay, one of the few ways you can still hold on to all this, never mind about the resbots. Nuke does connect with them. Resurrected units, though, still hitting the front lines. Now defend this somehow. Yeah, we don't have the units. We don't have the proper units to defend all this. The Shiva just weren't quite the right option. I mean, demons work pretty good here, but also Karganeth would have been an excellent choice as well. Little sharpshooter ball doing so much work. 6,000 metal, but easily killing several times that much. Still, though, the backline is completely shut off. The red team does have 300% the eco. It's just a matter of fact that the tank commander, with basically all of the economy, isn't producing T3. We're just still producing T2 vehicles here and sending them around the field to do whatever we feel like. I mean, there's all the time in the world to build metal extractors, bombers, units, whatever we want. We're kind of seeing none of it, though. Strange targeting on that nuke there. Beamer turrets having a field day here. Getting an opportunity to shine against the grunts right now, lasering them apart. One minuscule blast at a time. Watch me do this moving in here. I think this commander might have been fight commanded. Move commanded. Likewise with this one here. Oh, I saw a nuke go up. There it is. Nuke coming down. Danger close nuclear missile. Way off. We're really trying with these nukes right here, trying to get the value that we need, but it just isn't working right. Ooh, watch me do this. Moves into the laser cone. Ooh, commander does go down. All right. Another nuke finally connects with something tangible here. A couple sharpshooters left, but the, yeah, it looks like the ticks will be enough to blow these away. Shooing them off at least for now. The Starlight firing into the distance as well is lovely, of course. And it looks like the blue team has one by one been forced out of this game here. Yep. Tactical missile launchers right here being queued up, but not going to finish as the ticks continue swarming in. We're basically left with 3 commanders remaining for the blue team. Still just 1 for the red. Gotta get that guy out of there. Razorback coming up right here. Starlight should, or Pulsar rather, should be more than enough to thwart this. We also have the pit bulls, of course, and the beamer turrets aren't bad either. Oh. Pulsar firing off into the distance for some reason. Beamer turret's actually doing great. Wow. The army of beamer turrets to take down the... Yeah, to take down the Razorback is pretty impressive. Sharpshooters sent into their doom, I suppose. The final bastion of any level of technology here for the brown commanders. We have, likewise, the last of the, or one of the last 2 blue commanders over here. I can't believe it. I really can't believe the way that this one has turned out here. Oh, there we go. We have 1 commander without a brain, and we have 1 commander still holding on, but without energy. Maybe more important, the energy than the brain. Loads of happiness aggression right here from the blue team. Or from the red team, clearly. What is that? Oh. An anti-nuclear missile goes out. Okay. Something tells me this commander doesn't have much left to live for. Anti-nuke firing away right here. Are we going to kill this commander with nukes? Is that the plan? We've launched 3 nukes. We only had 2 anti-nukes. Means one of them is going to slip through. Well, there we go. That's one way of doing it. Oh, the blue team resigns before the satisfaction of nuking this commander to death. As we do finally see who wins this game beyond a reason. My goodness. The red team manages to, on the very last breath, hold their own long enough to kill the enemy's, what was it, 7 commanders versus just the 1. Incredible. Incredible showing here from both of these 2 teams. Lovely stuff, and I sure hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to check out the description, of course, where I'll have those links that you can go and check out to support the Bar Pro League, as well as the Discord channel with your favorite clips from the Brightworks. And I hope to see you again in the very next match of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.